Hello everyone and welcome back to From Our Basement Gaming.
Hey everyone.
We are back with part 19 of our Final Fantasy Let's Play.
That we are.
Yep, our first Final Fantasy for June.
Yep.
And yeah, so we're in the Earth Cavern.
Yep.
Still.
Yes. Unfortunately, by the time we got there to where I thought we had got to the next part, we had another floor to conquer, so I don't know where to go. He'll get us.
Oh boy. Yeah, I was basically talking about how this game is pretty much merciless before we started.
You did.
Yeah. The enemy encounter rate is like 11. It's you know, cranked up to 11. And I expressed how I was upset that there aren't potion shops in every town, village, whatever you want to call it. Yes, so I went on a little rant off screen about that because
Understandable.
I don't like that. And most of the RPGs I've played do allow you to buy all the stuff in the towns, you know, that you should have access to, you know, like the quality of life stuff, like the potions and antidotes and equipment and stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, I realize this is Square's. I don't know if it's Square's first RPG, but it's one of their first RPGs. Right?
Yes.
So, I guess I'm hoping they fix some of that stuff moving forward. But I'm not familiar with Final Fantasy 2 or 3, really. So, I don't know. Fingers crossed that they fixed it, but...
Yes. I'm hoping too.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's do some potioning and... As I realized when I was in these dungeons that, you burn through a lot of potions when your magic is still small.
It's like we need higher level potions, you know, these potions are too low level.
Right.
But I don't know if Final Fantasy has those or not, you know. Again, kind of being spoiled by other RPGs.
Yes, when you go back to the past.
Yeah.
You realize what you appreciate from...
I miss the quality of life improvements that the other RPGs I've played have.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like other RPGs that Square made later. Now, I don't play a lot of Final Fantasy, so I mean things like Chrono Trigger and really Super Mario RPG. I told you guys about. You know, that was my first RPG that I really enjoyed because the other RPG that my stepdad had was very boring, in my opinion. He liked it, but I hated it. It was too, like... and I know I looked that name up again, but I already forgot what it was. When I finally found it, do you remember what it was? Yeah, I don't remember either. The name was really generic. And there are RPGs that have similar titles, so like I kept thinking it was this different franchise and it wasn't that one. Something to do with wizards, but
yes,
I don't remember. So yeah, I probably haven't talked about it much on here, but I might as well talk about it because I was about to make a comment that would make no sense if you guys didn't have this prior knowledge about me. I warn you in advance, this is an unpopular opinion. That maybe arguably is a bit less of an unpopular opinion now, but I don't know. So I was never really into Harry Potter. It didn't do much for me. I tried. I couldn't get into the story. I wasn't really into wizards, but I was just going to say Harry Potter was not the first exposure to wizards that I just had no interest in. I would say the first one was actually that Super Nintendo game that had wizards in the title. It really had nothing to do with wizards, though. It was just a kind of text-heavy RPG that was like first-person view, which I don't know. Let me know in the comments because I'm not familiar with like. I know there were a lot of Dungeons and Dragons video games. And let me know in the comments if you've played those. Were they that style? You know, the first-person style, because I was kind of weirded out because a lot of RPGs I played after that point weren't like that. So, where like even when you're walking through the overworld, it is first person. Yeah, it
and things I can tell you, I know memory-wise the game you're talking, but the problem is I don't remember the title.
Right. Yeah, you were there when I finally found it, and I said, "Oh yeah, this is the title," and I showed you screenshots. But yeah, I almost feel like that type of RPG was more for people who maybe either did Dungeons and Dragons, in real life, the D&D scene in real life, or even some other types of, believe it or not, there are other types of pen and paper RPGs.
Oh yeah.
So I'm almost thinking I almost think this type of RPG franchise might have been more geared towards those people that were, in the RPG scene before video game RPGs, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I was never into that type of RPG. I am, in fact, even...
Here we go. The boss.
Who speaks to me? I am the force withholding the power of the earth. Away with you, humans.
Okay, here we go.
That is a... Oh. Well, you
That's
guys...
freaky.
You guys can't see it here, but it got very distorted and fuzzy and blue. Yeah.
Yes. Almost as if...
He's messing with it. He's so powerful that our HDMI cable can't give us a clear picture.
Yeah.
He does kind of have like these like electric things around him or something.
No arts. Because that's why I was painstakingly
There
getting that. There we are. Painstakingly getting that magic because he has a very bad attack that could hurt us all.
That is a huge vampire. Like, the other guy was more, like, human-sized. This guy is, like, a giant vampire.
Yeah.
If he even is a vampire. What's his name?
Leash.
Oh, Leash.
Holy crud, he did the attack.
Oh. He attacked you, did not want him to do it.
Correct.
Yes.
Shit. Dia.
The shoots attack. Dia will probably hit.
Oh yeah, haste. Bandit. That'll quicken his attack. Because he's undead, this will take a punch.
Yeah.
And haste is on. Attack, magic. Pure. Kuro. Magic. This is what we've all been fighting for. Fire. Yeah.
I don't know this guy's HP, but I imagine it's pretty high.
Shoes.
Ooh.
Magic.
This is certainly a pretty epic first video for June, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, not first Final Fantasy video, June. I know it's not our first June. You guys get me. You know what I'm talking about.
I do, magic. Deal 1. Magic.
You got this, man.
Thanks. Ice. Haste. Oh, he's hasting himself.
Oh.
Ah, good. John's awake.
Yeah, well, why would he haste you guys? He's not gonna help you beat him.
Put a shield on.
If he did, that would be not very smart. Sorry for the noise. I accidentally hit the table with my water bottle.
Alright, put steel on John. Which will increase his attack power.
Wow,
We did!
we actually beat him. Good job. Yeah, I knew you could do it.
Thank you, buddy.
Yay! Look at all that gold.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Awesome. Alright. Well, we completed the Earth Cavern.
Yay. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh. Huh? Oh.
And
Oh,
we're
okay.
celebrating.
Okay. They all had exclamation points, so I'm like, what? Did something bad happen? But no, I guess not.
I think the thing lighting up.
Oh, surprised them. Right.
Yeah.
It's one of the crystals, right?
Yeah.
I noticed we had a spot for 4 of them.
Yep. This is the altar of Earth from which the power of the Earth flows forth. And if we look at our menu,
Yeah.
yep, that little orange crystal is now lit up.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, and this little thing up here is a teleportation that takes us.
Man, if only we had.
Yeah, and if only these guys didn't attack us.
If only we had more of those, and if only, we hadn't have been
Attacked.
ambushed before getting in.
You jacks.
Like, oh, are you worn out from fighting a boss?
Well, too bad.
We're gonna attack you anyway.
Right as we were about to
Yeah.
step on that spot. That did nothing. And my phone chimed. Yippee.
I did something, says the phone.
Yes, it is cell phone. Okay, well, we won. And we step here.
Whee!
It gets us out of the cavern. And if there's anything I missed, we can do that. We take care of that later. But right now, let's get a cottage.
Yes, everybody needs to rest.
Yes. Save the game? Yes. We're not repeating this.
Imagine how convenient that would be in real life. You could just
Yeah.
have this portable cottage that whoosh, it like turns into this big house that you can have wherever you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All the money you'd save on hotel fees at that point.
Oh, yes.
Like, oh yeah, I can go to whatever convention I want to in any state, in any country, because I have a cottage
Yeah.
that I can just set up somewhere. I just have to find some vacant land with enough space nearby and just stay there for the night.
Look how easy it was to fight. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We could travel the world and replenish easily.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, traveling would be so much cheaper because you would cut out the hotel prices.
Yep.
And you'd have a nice private residence. You wouldn't have to worry about the other hotel goers coming in after you're already trying to go to bed and slamming the hotel doors shut. Having pool parties in the summer when there's a pool at the hotel, and playing 80s rock music really loud. He's cracking up because this is a true story.
It is.
Yeah.
We both loved it.
To a convention that unfortunately we both decided financially we can't afford to go to this year.
Sorry. Yes, it's true.
Because I swear the better hotel, not the one with the pool party, because I'm not going back to that hotel. I swear they rose their prices.
Really? Best Western?
I didn't think they were 200 something when we went in 2022. Which, I guess, 2 years later, I guess the price is going to increase, but I don't remember us doing 200 and change each.
Now, if there was a potion shop here, that would have saved all of our troubles.
Yes, but when I looked it up, supposedly, on the wiki, it did not list a potion shop.
Yeah, I'm a little mad about that.
Yes.
But look at how much money we got.
I'm more than a little mad about that.
Oh, you're furious.
Yeah,
Rightfully so.
That's what I was ranting about and being like, and
It's
like,
okay,
this is why the first Final Fantasy didn't take off here originally. That's probably not true. I just, angry talk. You get me.
I do get you.
Angry talk, but
I've
yes.
said a few things, too, that I later would regret from angry talk.
Yeah.
Alright, so we got a lot of antidotes, some gold needles and tents, but,
Yeah. I think the original Final Fantasy not being successful here was a very complicated thing. Like, there were a lot of factors, I feel like.
Agreed.
That I would have to do more research to know all of the factors. But I think one of them had to do with people not really being used to this type of RPG at that time. And certainly on a Nintendo console, I think was surprising to a lot of people. I think we were accustomed to shorter games on the Nintendo. Like, I mean, Legend of Zelda was like mind-blowing because of how long it was. The first one.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh yeah, I believe it really was mind-blowing. Zelda 1.
yeah. So I think those things kind of played a part. I think it probably wasn't marketed great because I don't know that the US video game market was like super into RPGs in the beginning. I mean, because look at, I'm sorry, my brain is drawing a blank. There was another, they didn't even release the Fire Emblem games that were on the Nintendo.
You're right.
Or the Super Nintendo. So, that just kind of gives you an idea about, they didn't put much stock into RPGs being very successful.
Right. Yes, exactly. I mean, yeah, you had some weirdo strategy games, but they weren't really readily available.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know for sure, but I feel like in the 80s, late 80s, and like maybe a little bit into the early 90s, I think certain RPG titles did change people's minds. The ones that came out in the 90s, they were like, oh my god, actually RPGs are great, but I feel like before that point, RPGs were kind of just like, oh, those are just, this, by the way, to preface, this is not how I feel. I feel like their reaction was kind of this, oh, this is just what those Ren Fair nerds like to do. Yeah. That's kind of the impression I feel like, or how I feel RPGs were treated at that time. Like I said, I think in the 90s it did shift, because they released some really great RPGs, like on the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, and then of course PlayStation, opening the floodgates of RPGs.
Yeah. PlayStation did open up floodgates.
Yeah. By the time Final Fantasy VII happened, all of a sudden everybody wanted to play an RPG. But I feel like in the late 80s, again, I wasn't there, but from what the impression I get from what I've heard about it, it feels that way. It was treated as, oh, this is just some niche thing that only a small group of people are gonna like.
Gotcha.
It's just a theory. You guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments about that. I don't really know for sure.
To be fair, buddy, I think that is a good theory because it was seen as strange. And, like, in comparison to, like, Super Mario Brothers, or... That's a game you could easily pick up and play and understand. You just gotta...
Right, there's that too, the approachability.
Yeah.
And the assumption that RPGs are something that's maybe a bit of an older audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even with Zelda, when you think of it, because I think his mindset was he wanted the player to figure it out themselves as opposed to... So I wonder where I missed up.
Yeah, so I wanted to look up the year that this game that a game I was thinking of came out. One that definitely I think really contributed. I have not played this game, but I have heard like everybody and their brother and sister talk about it online. A game that really changed people's minds about RPGs. One of them was Secret of Mana.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. And then, having a bunch of good RPGs in a row after that one really, I think, changed people's minds. I think even Final Fantasy IV that, we got over here as 2 because they completely ignored 2 and 3 initially.
Right.
Yeah. In the U.S. So more than likely in Canada as well.
Yes.
Because I think Canada has a similar release region. I think they're the same region, right? U.S. and Canada. In terms of video games, in terms of like video games.
Despite originally them having separate regions, after NAFTA, especially, the mindset was that they wanted it to be roughly exactly the same game for both the United States and Canada, and later Mexico.
Right. It's probably easier that way too, to not have to like specify a separate region for Canada and then another separate one for Mexico.
Right.
Yeah.
I think with some of the early Nintendo games you could tell because the, like, Super Mario Brothers in Canada had both like an English section and a French section of the instruction manual.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I honestly wish that our US games did that too. I think they started to, I want to say, late GameCube era?
I think so too.
Yeah.
We started seeing it in like English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese, I think, to also cover South America, which the biggest markets are, Brazil, and the South American countries surrounding it, like Argentina and Chile and Peru.
Yeah, the Switch physical releases have been really weird, though. Like, in terms of that. Like, some Switch games, and it's all in the US, so it's not like you could be like, well, maybe it's different if you bought that one in Canada. Like, no, this is all in the US. But, like, some of them will have Spanish as the second language they feature, and some of them will have French, in terms of, like, on the box art and the manuals. And I'm just sitting there like, why don't you just have both Spanish and French?
Yeah.
And just make it 3 languages.
Exactly. And it's really, in comparison, it's really cool when you see a European copy.
Yeah.
There are like 12 or 14 languages on those babies.
Yes. And I remember it was very interesting. I have to experiment more with like the language options in the game because I really would like to know. Because I'm hoping so much that I can have more language options for audio. Because something that I like to do, and in fact, I was doing this since I was a kid, and I actually read that this is a very good thing to do as a language learner. Exposing yourself to the language you're studying in games is a good way to practice. Especially, if it's a game you play a lot, so you already basically know what the language, what the stuff is, what's being said.
Right.
Versus you've never played the game before and you play it in a foreign language. That's maybe a little bit too rough unless you know a lot of the language. But.
Right. Alternatively, if you're familiar with the game.
Right. And I say audio because sometimes it could be too difficult to change the text. Unless you're like really advanced, sometimes it's more difficult to change the text. And also, if I happen to really, really hate the English dub of the game I'm playing, I want to change it.
So do I.
And I'm really like, guys, I don't know, for the Zelda game, Zelda games, I'll probably do it for you. I'll probably do it for this channel, but honestly, if I ever get Breath of the Wild and I'm playing it casually on my own, I really don't want to have it on English. the audio, because I think I've discussed it in another... Oh, it's time to
So
stop.
you can finish your point.
I think I discussed in another video that I don't like it when fantasy games always have to have like that British, like, you know, oh, we have to be Middle English because it's fantasy.
Yeah.
So I was not very happy that Zelda kind of had a British accent.
Yeah, I thought I heard someone refer to it as Elizabethan, like Elizabeth I style.
Oh, okay, yeah, that might be what they were going for.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Early modern English is hard to interpret.
I mean, it's not. Well, Princess Zelda wasn't quite like that. Not, you know, not the literally medieval English. I think they're just like, oh, a modern British accent will do, and that annoys me too, because
Gotcha.
I'm like, why are you assuming that Hyrule is going to be the equivalent to medieval England or any other story? But anyway, we'll see you guys later.
See you next time, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.